don't we? And come September 14, we're going to have a new change in Sacramento. You're going to have a friend up there. You're going to have somebody who believes in business, who believes in growth. We're going to declare a statewide emergency on homelessness. We're going to declare a statewide emergency on water. And to the extent that there are still face mask mandates and vaccine mandates, I'm going to repeal those before I have my first cup of coffee, and I don't drink coffee.
So, what is going on? Hello, everybody. John Masters here. Just going to talk a little bit about Larry Elder while he's talking, his platform. Larry Elder is pro-life, right? Also, depending on your perspective, that's anti-choice. So pro-life, anti-choice. He's also against wind and solar. He's against wind and solar, so it's not just, he's in favor of fracking, which is terrible. So he's in favor of fracking and earthquakes and nuclear power. I agree on the nuclear thing, not the fracking thing. But Larry Elder isn't just going to push fracking and earthquakes and possibly dangerous nuclear power, but he's going to be opposed to wind and solar power too. So that's like, what the fuck? He also doesn't like the hyphenated term African American. He's against critical race theory. He doesn't like Black Lives Matter. He thinks black people are more prone to crime and violence than other demographic groups. Larry Elder is also opposed to universal health care. Larry Elder mentored Stephen Miller. He backed Trump's migrant family separation policy. Larry Elder is anti-reparations, anti-universal health care, anti-Black Lives Matter. To argue against reparations, Larry Elder suggested that reparations, maybe we should give them to the slave owners for the loss of property. To show how ludicrous the argument was, Larry Elder thought that the shooting of Breonna Taylor was just fine and dandy, justified and, exonerated. Larry Elder thinks George Soros is to blame for many of society's woes. He's against the war on poverty. Larry Elder says, you know what? Fuck that war on poverty. He says, fuck Black Lives Matter, fuck reparations, and fuck the war on poverty, and fuck universal health care. He's against the CRT, against mask and vaccine mandates. He believes in a $0 minimum wage, and on and on and on. Let's hear it from him.
Why not? You're going to be accused of systemic racism if you see something that you think is awry. Most of police work is discretionary. Crime goes up. Bad guys know it. When you reduce the possibility of a bad guy getting caught, getting convicted, and getting incarcerated, guess what? Crime goes up. Can you say duh? And while Gavin Newsom enjoyed having his own kids enjoy in-person, in-school private education, he shut down school for the 80% of Californian kids who are Hispanic and black. These are the ones that the left claims to.
So that's Larry Elder, right? Larry Elder just being a Larry Elder. He believes in $0 minimum wage. He is anti-choice. He does, however, know, that Joe Biden won the election fairly and squarely. He's opposed to gun control, no to reparations, no to universal health care, no to Black Lives Matter, no to African American. He doesn't believe that a gender wage gap exists. He said dumb comments about women. Let's see here. He called the climate crisis a crock. Fatherless families drive up crime rates in black communities. He's against the war on drugs, just like Gavin Newsom and a bunch of them. Anti-crime, anti-early release, anti-cashless bail, anti-socialism, pro-life, pro-school choice, anti-health care. He's, loves fracking, doesn't like the Americans with Disabilities Act. He is going to bring Ben Shapiro, Dennis Prager, Dave Rubin, Hannity, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson into the power apparatus controlling California. He's anti-choice, $0 minimum wage, anti-socialism, anti-universal health care, pure laissez-faire capitalist. He's going to go against wind and solar. Of the two economic systems in the world, Larry Elder picked the heartless economic system, capitalism. He's against the war on poverty. Capitalism is dependent upon poverty, so of course he's against Black Lives Matter, against critical race theory, he's against reparations. He doesn't believe a gender wage gap exists. Climate crisis is a crock. He's opposed to universal health care. Let's see here. He backed Trump's migrant family separation policy, mentored Stephen Miller, says he wants Stephen Miller to become president, says that black folks are more prone to crime and violence than brown and white folks. He's opposed to cashless bail. He's against African American as a term, anti-socialism, anti-George Soros. He may hurt the 160,000 homeless folks. He may hurt the immigrants and black folks too. No to reparations, no to universal health care. Let's go back to Larry Elder.
Claims that they care so much about. Do you know that 75% of black boys in California before the pandemic could not read at state levels of proficiency, and those levels are not high? Half of third graders cannot read at state levels of proficiency. I went to Crenshaw High School. You saw the movie Boys in the Hood? That's my high school. 2% of kids at Crenshaw High School are math proficient. And these kids lost a whole year of in-school education. It is an outrage. When I get up there, we're going to be pushing choice in education.
So he's for school choice. He doesn't like critical race theories, opposed to universal health care. I feel like I'm just repeating, but just make sure. Dave Rubin, okay, so if he gets elected, Dave Rubin is going to be part of the power apparatus of California.
The money should follow the child rather than the other way around. There's going to be an initiative, I understand, on the ballot for educational savings accounts. We're spending an average, Dion, I see you back there. We're spending an average of $12,000 per student. I think it's actually more than that. That'll go to an education savings account so the parent can determine whether or not they want to put their child in a public school, should they choose to, a charter school, a religious school, or a private school.